Hello and welcome into another video, and I will do my best to not come off sounding like I'm trying to be preachy at any point in this video, but the entire point of the video is that I'm explaining why it's important that stories that don't often get told, especially in the video game format. And I need to start this with a thought question, something that it doesn't have an answer, because you'll think it has an answer, you'll try your best to convince yourself it has an answer, but it doesn't. What is blue? I haven't stopped talking or anything for any other reason than to let it actually sink in. There's a reason I've picked the colour blue. Originally, when I planned this out, it was going to be green, but then I looked at the start screen here for Hellblade, and I'm like, actually, I should probably just go for what is blue, because that's blue, isn't it? How do you know? Like, seriously, how do you know? You know what I think is blue. You know what you think is blue. You know that OBS apparently really doesn't like this game, and it's going to run like shit. Because I've only just figured that out. But yeah, we're all told what blue is. We're all told what green is. How do you actually know? The only two quote-unquote colours are actually shades that you can, with 100% accuracy, see what black is and what white is. Black, if memory serves, the official description, is devoid of any light, and white is a total saturation of light. On a colour spectrum, black and white have definitives. Everything else, if you're colourblind, you don't know that I see blue the same as you, see green the same as you. You may not even know you're colourblind. I may not know I'm colourblind. I actually do know that I'm not, because I've had tests. Mainly the video game kind. And that's actually why there's a lot to cover here with this. I had a friend, two friends specifically, playing with. One of them, confirmed colourblind, has trouble with the colour red. The other one, he wasn't colourblind. Not at all. But he kept hearing the person talk about red and seeing all of the issues that they were having whilst playing a game, seeing the red things, and wishing that there'd be colourblind options. And a game that I can't remember what it was, but the game gave you colourblind options, and it was one of those where you go into the options and it's the whole change the colour spectrum until you can see this defined thing clearly. Sometimes it's a letter, sometimes when it's video game form they do an actual video game symbol or something, so it's something that the gamer would recognise, but a lot of the time it's like the letter E or something like that. I think a lot of you might already know where this story's going. The friend who wasn't colourblind couldn't see the letter, and he's like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, the game literally says I should see a letter here. I'm on the default settings and I don't see a letter. Took him a little second. Me and the other friend realised it straight away, and it's like, so you can't see the letter on the default settings. The default settings that are for non-colourblind people. I can see the letter. What? Yeah. Other friend immediately was like, yeah, do me a favour, go through all of these colourblind settings until you can see a letter. Yeah, they didn't realise I was colourblind. You truly do not know that you are seeing the same green leaves that I am seeing. To you, those leaves could be what the colour blue is to me. So how those stones there, and I know it's a lighting thing, that the stones aren't actually blue, they're grey, but they come across blue here because of the filter and everything. Like, no one truly knows. And unfortunately, we live on a planet where everyone has main character syndrome, and everyone seems to think that we should all do the exact same things, that one diet is good for everyone, that one this is good for everyone, that one that is good for everyone. This is where a lot of the bigotry comes from as well, where you've got people going, oh, they're coming over here and they're changing our way of life, and don't you want your kids to grow up the way you did? I was abused my entire fucking life. I wouldn't wish that on any child. Like, just because you had a good experience doesn't mean we all did, you know? And that's why these games, Senua, the Senua franchise, like so many fucking games, to be honest. Oh god, I wish I could remember them now. I'm going to fuck it up. I should have looked into this before. I know one of them is something Midnight, and the developer's actually in the middle of being shut down. Funnily enough, like Ninja Theory from Senua. I hope I actually get to play Senua 3, I really do. But yeah, I know is it Sounds of Midnight or something like that? I know it's set in the Deep South. And I actually really wanted to play it. I just never. It came out at a time when there were so many other fucking games. Like, I think it came out 2 weeks after Claire Obscure or something. And yeah, it's just I never got around to playing it. And I figured I'll finally play it. And now it's like, oh, the dev's being shut down. I will still play it because I want to. Because that's the thing. It really is important that games like this exist. That we get these viewpoints, these stories. That I don't have psychosis. I know someone who does have it. I'm also on medical marijuana, and I know I bring it up a lot, but one of the side effects is, on medical marijuana, you can develop psychosis. So it is something I have to actually be very wary of. And when I actually got my marijuana, the doctor was outright refusing to let me go on to it. Because he said the risk of psychosis is such a problem, such an issue. And I didn't know anything about it at the time. And again, I had a friend, like, I'd only just met them, and we weren't at the stage of the relationship of explaining to me what psychosis means. A lot of people I know seem to think that it's to do with serial killers, like, because it's one of the most misrepresented things on the planet, which is, again, why stories like Senua truly are fucking important. But I said to my friend, hey, listen, I'm getting these recommendations for these 3 meds. All 3 of them have a chance to kill me, according to the side effects. My doctor is informing me that that's better than taking medical marijuana and risking psychosis. I won't tell you everything they said, but the amount of times ableist asshole came up in the conversation is unbelievable. So yeah, games like this are truly important. Like, they show advantage that you hopefully will never experience. And I don't understand. And this is where might be the part that sounds preachy. You've got all these grifters out there who love to kick off, and the sad part is there's people who believe it. The grifters don't. The grifters are just using the people like this. But there's so many people out there who are just like, why are all these games woke? Why are all this, that, and the other? I've had enough stories of straight white men to fucking last a lifetime. Like, seriously, I have had enough stories of straight white men to... I am done. I'm satiated. I don't avoid games with a straight white male protagonist, because I play anything. And I don't need to be that person to actually relate to them, to relate to the character. Don't have psychosis. I can relate to a lot of what Senua went through and a lot of the trauma and that. I'm not a straight white male. I can still play a fucking Uncharted and experience life as Nathan Drake. And that was part of the problem, the fact that most of the games for a long time were, do you have the Nolan North flavour or the Troy Baker flavour? Because that's what a lot of games were. You either play as like a Nolan North character or a Troy Baker character, and that's not to shit on them. They're great, fucking fantastic voice actors. And like with everything, diversity kinda is the spice of life. Like variety, having these things. Having all of these characters, and yes, Senua is still a white woman, but the Midnight game that I can't for the life of me fucking remember is a black woman. Like, there's so many stories out there of so many different people. You don't have to relate, and you can still relate. When grifters and all of these people come out and love to see it, all of these things that, like, games are woke and this, that, and the other, you're just saying you're an asshole and you have no empathy and you can't relate unless you apparently are exactly like Nathan Drake, because how many people out there have you met who look exactly like that, who were gamers? And I'm not trying to be shitty about the stereotype. I'm especially not the person to ever body shame or anything, because I'm a plus size person myself. I've lost a lot of weight, and I'm still fat, and I will always be fat. But there's a lot of people out there who do like to seem to think that they are the alpha male, like 6'6", ripped, built guy who has this chance of getting with the impossibly perfect woman, Like, all of these games where they've been created with women with, like, double F. Or, like, and again, women with double F do actually exist, but there's so many of these people who are the problem, I don't understand it. Now, what I do understand, I'm an our race person, and I'm about to pivot to a book called Loveless. And Alice Oseman is the author. I'm not trying to shit on her or the book. I love her as an author. I love the book, and it's very important to me. I will get to all of that. It's not the best book ever written. It's a young adult book. It's written in a weird style where, like, you get text alerts real time, essentially. It's like you're not on your actual phone, but you're reading the characters' text messages. A lot of people can complain about it. I cried harder at the end of that book than I think I've ever cried at any medium. The second closest is actually Senua. Hilariously enough, Senua. I don't relate to Senua, but I was bawling, absolutely bawling. I had to pause the game for the final combat because I was getting the shit kicked out of me because I couldn't see because there were so many tears in my eyes. Like, genuinely, the end of this game has done something like no other. And Loveless is an entire book about discovering that you are a race and going through that and experiencing what the main character does and experiencing the grief that comes with it and all of the fact that she's constantly worried she's going to be loveless her entire life and have no anything in her life because all of her friends are dating and they'll get married and they'll have kids and this, that, and the other. Like, so many things. That is such an important book to me. It is the first book in the history of my life I have ever truly related to the main character, even though the main character is a cis woman. Because it's the first time I'd ever read something where the main character was our race. It is so important that these stories are told. If I'd read that when I was a child, instead of at 33 or something, that would have changed my fucking life. And I don't understand that we have so many people so vehemently against these games. Do you truly have not enough to play? Do you have infinite time and infinite money to be able to burn through absolutely everything that comes out? That absolutely fucking everything needs to be for you. I've got news for you. There's a reason I opened with what's the colour blue. You will truly never know what another person is ever like in the same way that you know yourself. And that's why there is so many diverse stories out there and so many different things, so many different lived experiences, so many different lifestyles, so many different things that you're born with, that you're born differently from, that you grew up with, from disability to skin colour to sexuality to no sexuality. Like, there are so many different fucking things out there. And all you will ever truly know is you. And you will know you better than anyone. And that's when a lot of these systemic issues come in of trans people, of, you know, how dare we let trans people who know their own body do things with their own body that they know will be better for them without going through decades of unnecessary appointments and so many different things to make 100% sure that this is what you want. And then when they get those surgeries and it is actually exactly what they want, people with shocked Pikachu, it is maddening how people are. Just in general, it is maddening how people are. I feel genuine pity and sorry if you can't play something that you don't relate to. If you look at, I'm actually trying to look at Senua. Oh, there we go. For some reason, turning the camera one way doesn't work. But if you look at Senua and go, I'm not a woman, I'm not in like Nordic Viking times, I'm not in I don't have psychosis, I don't have any of this, what would I ever gain from playing this? I genuinely feel pity for you. Now, that's not to say you should like the game. Obviously, there's a lot of people out there who have issues with this. Hell, I have issues with the Senua franchise. I kind of have issues with the fact that the third game is making it more gamey instead of just a story medium, because this is when this game flows at its best. Combat should be easy, and obviously I know I've died on that one here. I'm really not focusing, and I'm just trying to walk around and show pretty. And again, I cannot stress enough how badly OBS seems to be making this run. I have never had frame dips like this. Like, this is an old game and my PC laughs at it. I can run the second one absolutely flat out, and it is the most jaw-dropping visual experience I've ever had in gaming. So I don't understand why loading OBS is making this go, you know what, we're just going to have like massive frame issues while you're in the middle of action zones. So that's why I'm walking around this serene island, which I would say this is a spoiler because this is an important part, but honestly, getting here, you don't know what's important about this, and I'm intentionally not triggering story. So yeah, it's no one will like everything. But it's the fact that so many people seem to think that if it's something that I don't like or something that I can't relate to, it has no value, it has no worth, it has no meaning. And again, it's the same sorts of people who, if you don't find the main lead character fuckable, or someone that you envision yourself as, like, I don't understand how people can get through life being that small-minded, that close-minded. And I don't mean this as insults, I mean it's kind of the truth at the end of the day. If you seriously cannot play, I mean, Dynamite Headdy, does anyone know what the fuck you actually play as in Dynamite Headdy? Sonic the Hedgehog? He's a hedgehog. Miles Tails Prower? He's a fox. What species of fox? Genuinely asking, like, what species of fox is Miles? Can you name a single fox on this planet that's got two tails? If anything, he's a fox with a mutation, and apparently we hate mutants as well. Seen enough X-Men to know that the similes, with Stan Lee being anti-bigotry and going, you know what, we're just going to make something that's so clearly queer and POC coded and have the right-wing bigots really mocked, even to the fact that when we actually got a real-life movement like that, people genuinely couldn't believe how right the X-Men 90s cartoon got so many things. Even down to the fucking hats, I swear down. Yeah, I genuinely do feel sorry if you are that small-minded, that close-minded, that you cannot fucking fathom playing something, but at the same time, you've got Dynamite Headdy there. You've got all of these mascot characters. I'm not a Bandicoot. I've played the Crash games. At no point did it stop me relating to Crash Bandicoot. He was trying to save his sister. To be fair, was it? So he was trying to save his sister in one of them. Was the first one his girlfriend? Because I know they did the whole thing where is it Tanya Bandicoot? Tonya Bandicoot? I genuinely cannot remember the other Bandicoot from the first game. Conker. I'm not a squirrel. At no point do I have grey scaly skin with a long trunk, big floppy ears. I am not a squirrel. And sorry if that confuses the fuck out of you. It's an in-joke that's actually in the fucking game. I'm not a red-tailed bushy squirrel. Played through all the Conker. Could very much easily relate to the fact that the guy had a splitting headache. Granted, his was from a hangover, mine's chronic illness. He had a splitting fucking headache and he just wanted to go home and sleep. And had the worst day of his fucking life. And I'm like, you know what? This is just so relatable right now, even though I'm not a squirrel. I don't get it. I will never get it. I've never understood the need that everything, and I say that as someone who I've just literally said, the Arrow Race book, Loveless, made me cry my eyes out because finally I got representation. I finally got something that I relate to, so I do understand that straight white men need these games. Do you need as many of them? Like, seriously? Do you need it to be literally every fucking game? It's like... Yeah. And that's why I started with what is blue? Because you can't honestly ever definitively say that the blue you are looking at is the same as the blue I am looking at. You cannot say that what your eyes are perceiving are the same as my eyes. There are so many different visual impairments out there, some that people go their entire lives not even realizing they have. Again, if this fucking game hadn't came out and this person hadn't been playing, because how would have you ever found out? You'd have never checked that option. Because he's not colorblind. Why would I check the colorblind option? I'm not colorblind. Except he was. And he didn't know. Like, it is truly fucking maddening that as a species, we are so fucking adamant that everything should be the exact same way that we were grew up as, that our culture should be, despite the fact that some of the best things in all of history are when cultures actually meet. And I know I bring him up a lot, but Keanu fucking Reeves is kind of the point of this. Like, look at that man's life. Look at the fact that he was born in Lebanon, raised in Canada. Like, he is multicultural, the person. And for some reason, his ethnicity gets erased the amount of time as well. The amount of times I've heard people say Keanu Reeves is a white man. No. His mother's white and English, if memory serves, but, like, people are so quick to, if you have light enough skin, to just label you as a white guy. And it's like that with so many other things as well. But at the end of the day, there's albino people out there who are POC. Like, this is probably the worst example I could do. So you know what? I'm going to pivot. I was going to mention reality TV star. That's why it was a bad example. I'm going to mention the fact that there's the actor/rapper might be a genuinely awful person in real life. I don't know. This is not I am bringing them up as an example because of an endorsement or anything. It was a DC superhero show, and I can't even remember what it was called. I want to say it might have been Black Lightning. Might have been. The character, like the main big bad villain, it was a predominantly black show. The whole point was it was a predominantly black superhero for black kids growing up, and then they turned it into a TV show. And I think in the comic as well, the character was albino as well. He's black and albino, and he is a black man who has very, very light, fair, almost white skin, but still has all of the facial features, the body features of his fathers, his mothers, like his ancestors. And obviously, I know this is a dicey topic because there's people out there who like to claim things like that can be racist, but no, like, you can use it as a racism thing. You can say that that's why, like, I'm not trying to fucking advocate for racism here. I'm very aware how this might be about to sound. I understand there's people out there who can say that they don't like those features on people, but he was a black man who was albino, and the hell that he must have grown up as his entire life, because I can only imagine how fucking difficult that must be, being seen as a white person in a black family. Like, so again, I don't know if the actual actor, I don't even know his name. I don't know if he's an actual nice person in real life or a nasty person. I genuinely don't. But I know he exists, and people like him exist. Again, there was a reality TV star that I was going to bring up, and I don't remember his name either, but he was also black and an albino, and literally it was a UK series of Big Brother, and I even remember watching the fucking, like, it's one of those moments that went viral, and I don't even watch reality TV, and it was the conversation where people were like, hang on a second, you're black? And he had to do the whole like, I've been there with our race. I seriously have. It was the look on his face. It was the sigh. It was the, oh God, here we go again. I have to explain all of this bullshit to people. You know, it's like, I get it. I get this severe exhaustion of, like, how he then launched into, yes, so I am black. My mother is black. My father is black. I was born with albino skin pigment. Like, he went through the whole thing verbatim, like, as if it's a practice speech. And it's like, I've been there with our race. I have. And do you know why people like us get this exhausted? And I say people like us, like, again, I mean people who have to explain things that are rare. I am pale, white, pasty, like, I am not at all POC, and I am not an albino either. Like, I should specify all of that 100% clearly. I don't want it to ever come off like I'm trying to claim something that I'm not. I'm just someone who also has been through the sheer exhaustion of having to explain something that is so rare. And do you know what would have made that easier? All the times that I explained what our race was. And do you know what I do now? There's a book about it if you really want to learn about it. It's called Loveless. Go read it. It's not the best book, but it's still a really good book. It's like a powerful book. It's an important book. It's something that I'm really glad exists because I can finally point to it. There's YouTubers who've came out as our race since that book was published. And I can't help but wonder. And now I can point to the YouTubers as well and say, actually, this YouTuber has a video on it, and this YouTuber has a video on it. There's so many things, and I just sit there thinking, this poor person who was on Big Brother UK, I wonder if the TV show that I've referenced, and again, I know I haven't mentioned full names here, this is the sort of thing, this is how you can tell I'm not a professional, I just come up with stuff off the top of my head. I wish I'd thought about this in advance to be able to actually write down the names of the show so I could at least get that right, but could you imagine if that Black Lightning, which is what I think it was called, could you imagine if that existed? And he, like, could just say, so have you ever seen this TV show? Because if not, please do watch it. Like, I've been there with the exhaustion of explaining, and I imagine, funnily enough, with psychosis. Because I know fine well, with conversations I've had with my friend, where I've had to bring up, so this does psychosis, and this is what they say. I know from you that that's an offensive thing. That's pretty shitty of them. Obviously, I don't bring it up in a shitty way either. I'm not that person who goes, hey, this is this, like, really awful transphobic thing. Let's send it to a trans person and get that. No, like, please don't do that shit. I fucking hate when people do it. It's a case of, I was talking about the game to someone, and Borderlands, weirdly, Borderlands does psychosis way better than some other games. And I was, like, Borderlands 4 even. And I actually was talking to the person that said, well, it does this, this, and this. It's like, hey, I know these are all really great. The one thing it does do, I know it does this, which is a harmful stereotype. And they were actually, you know what? Ordinarily, it's a harmful stereotype, but the way that you've just said that they actually do it with the character, I can see why they've done it. And it's like, okay, well, that's something I didn't know. So it's still something that I will caution around if I ever discuss it with someone else with psychosis, but at least now I know, so thank you. Like, this is why it's important that these stories, these characters, these people, all of these kinds of people, no matter what your skin colour, no matter where you come from, no matter, like, there's games about eating disorders now. I am over the fucking moon that Consume Me exists. I've never played it, I probably will never play it, because it's not the kind of thing for me. I'm over the moon it exists. Roger and me, I know people that I am desperately trying to figure out how I can recommend that game to people without saying why I want to recommend it, because I truly do think it'll help, because I know fine well they went through what the game's discussing with a family member, But I don't want to be the person going, hey, play this, and then spoiling it all. But I also don't want to be the person, because if you know what Roger and May's about, to just say, hey, just play this. Like, that feels like an asshole move. Without giving you any warning. Play this, you'll probably break down crying. You know? Yeah. It's just annoying. And I think I'm done. I think the waffle's done. And hopefully I genuinely haven't said anything that comes across as insensitive or offensive or anything. I have truly tried my best here. I am only human. It's one of those. This is the detriment to the fact that the social anxiety doesn't let me check comments. I won't know if I've actually said something that said, actually, you probably shouldn't say that. And that's a problem, because I'd like to know that. Because that's how we learn as people, and that's ultimately where my stance is. I try my damnedest to not say the wrong thing. If I do say the wrong thing, I need people to call me out on it and say, hey, you shouldn't say it like that. Even if it's a case of, I understand what you're going for, because sometimes that's what it is. Sometimes people are gentle with it, sometimes people are blunt with it, because sometimes they need to be blunt with it. Sometimes it really is a case of, hey, I understand why you said it like that, but you probably shouldn't say it like that. This is what you should say instead. There's the word lame immediately comes to mind. So many people use that and don't actually understand what it is. And as soon as someone sat me down and told me what the word lame is and the context that I was using it in, I should never use it in, I was like, okay, so I can still say the word. And that was what was like, yes, it is a word. It's not like a slur or anything. It's a word. You're allowed to say it. But it's a word that you shouldn't be using it in the context that a lot of people use it for. It's... As a queer person, maybe I could summarize it this way. It's the same as how people used to use gay for bad. Which always was fucking pathetic anyway. But it's just like, oh, that's so gay. You know, like, what the fuck? What the fuck, people? Like, that's the way that lame gets used. If you use it in its correct way, gay is a fine word. Gay is a perfectly happy word. Gay, like, literally, that's what the traditional definition of gay meant. Then it became a name. Then it became an identifying label for homosexuality and that. Like, all of those uses, perfectly fine. You could say it, like, I mean, it would be weird to say this is gay Steve, you know, but you can say this is Steve and he's gay type thing. Like, but lame being used in that context, the same way as gay being used in that context, kind of an issue. And this is what I mean. I'm trying not to be preachy either. These are things that you just don't get told, though. And this is the other thing. And it's why, ultimately, I need to end this video. I need to land the plane. And this is going to be the last thing I'm going to say on it. And hopefully I haven't just lost my fucking train of thought trying to explain this as well. This is why I try to say it. If I do say the bad thing, I'm not going to ever say, like, never assume in ill intent or anything like that. Like, I'd like to think watching my videos enough you will understand not to assume that. Like, that's something that I have to earn in your eyes. That it's like respect type thing as well. It has to be earned. I do genuinely never try to say anything with ill intent, but I am going to say the wrong thing at times. I need to be called on it. I need to, like, expand. Meanwhile, you've got people out there, and it's like, oh, I can't believe you just brought up the fact that people use gay in a bad way. I mean, I do that, and that doesn't make people bad. And then they go on the defense immediately. Like, no one's saying it to attack you, and that's something people have to learn. When I bring up that there, I'm not saying it to attack you. I'm saying it because, hey, maybe you genuinely didn't know. And if you're a genuinely decent person, and this is, again, not an attack, this is just kind of fact, if you're a genuinely decent person, you will care about the fact that, oh, what I'm saying might actually be offensive to gay people. And I actually don't see myself as offensive to gay people. You know, I don't have a problem like that. So I'll stop using that. Whereas instead, so many other people are like, oh, how dare you police what I'm saying? And how dare you make me feel bad? And like, no one's attacking you here. Not at all. Just saying, bit shitty to say that. And if you keep saying things like that, then people aren't going to want to hang out with you. And this is why you get the echo chamber of the shitty people and the grifters all coming together to go, oh, well, we all feel this way. I mean, do you really feel that way? And if so, are you really proud of feeling that way? Are you really proud of the fact that you're hateful? That's what I mean. That's when I have a problem with it. For a lot of people, it's a case of, hey, maybe this is the video where you've just learned I shouldn't be using lame in the way to mean that something's like bad or boring or bland or pathetic, in the same way that I shouldn't be using gay in that way. And I'm going to stop using that. And it'll take time. Everything's force a habit. It takes 30 days to break a habit. There are still, even after the 30 days, very, very rarely, sometimes I will, like, think it. and then realize, and I'll catch myself before I say it, like, oh, I almost fucked up there. Like, there will be times when I have fucked up as well. And I just immediately have to go, oh, I apologize. There's been times I've had to re-record videos because I accidentally said something like that. And I realized, oh shit, I caught myself a little too late. I couldn't really edit it. Like, it happens. No one's perfect and no one expects perfection. Just when you do fuck up, learn from it, do better, try not to fuck up next time. It's the same thing with pronouns or anything like that. No one expects perfection. But if someone has outright told you 15 times, I don't use she, her, and you keep using she, her, that's a problem, and they're not going to want to hang out with you. And they're never going to want to speak to you again. You know, like, eventually it'll get to that point of, it's actually hurting my mental health. And my physical well-being as a result is suffering, hanging out with you because you refuse to acknowledge that you are harming me. And this is why so many people end up so alone, you know? So yeah, I have tried to be as careful as I can with this video, tried not to make it come off as preachy, but to also explain why shit like this is important. And hopefully, this video has helped you. And again, do not take all of this verbatim 100%, this is how you should act or anything. All I can say is this is the things that I myself do, and I also fuck up and make mistakes. I'm human. It happens. But I apologize for my mistakes. I actually do apologize because I know how to apologize. And I know part of the biggest part of an apology isn't just the words you say, because they're kind of worthless. It's your actions. And if I fuck up and someone tells me, hey, do this, I acknowledge the fuck up and I start making an effort to do that instead. Hence, I no longer... Like, I never really did it anyway. The amount of times growing up, I just never really used the word lame. But it was still enough in my vocabulary that I'd still sometimes go, like, in a derogatory sense like that. And now, I try my fucking hardest. I can't actually remember what the official use is. I believe my friend said it was a special kind of disability for legs. I could probably Google it. But at the same time, I don't need to know that. I don't need to know the correct use of something until I need to use it correctly, if you know what I mean. Which right now I probably do. I just don't need to... I more than anything need to know the incorrect usage so that I don't fuck up, is I guess how I'm putting it. And with that, this very long-ass-winded video has ended. And I'm going to say, I've been Sky Fellowship. Until next time, I truly do hope you have a great rest of your day. And if you have managed to watch this entire video, and even if you're the kind of person who has scoffed at some of the things that I've said, and think that I'm trying to be an asshole about it and be preachy, I assure you I truly am not, and I can only say that, like, maybe you're projecting, or maybe I have touched a nerve, and you're in the defensive phase of realizing that I've touched a nerve, and maybe in a couple of weeks' time you'll be like, okay, they did kind of have a point with that, and maybe I should stop doing it, because actually maybe when I've thought about it, I am coming across in a way that I don't want to project myself as coming across, and maybe therefore people inform opinions based on me, or instead of basing it on fact, they base it on what they think I am, which is kind of shitty, but that's what I'm doing. And like, you know, maybe, just maybe, there is that one person who has realized I should stop saying a certain thing. And again, maybe it's not even the lame, like using lame in that way. Maybe it's not using gay in that way. Maybe it's something else that you've realized, actually people have brought this up to me before and maybe I should stop saying it, you know? That's the person I'm trying to reach with this video. Seriously, I'm. Right, anyway, bye.